Certainly, the water guns will go on as planned. Bakari and Phil, the show will go on. Festival 2025 not impacted, but it's 2026 that could be in peril if more companies, organizations, and people don't step up to help Pride Toronto. They say they're about $900,000 short when it comes to funding for this year's budget. And so after some major sponsors like Home Depot, Google, Nissan, Clorox bowed out of sponsoring the festival this year, they've had to find alternate arrangements, alternate companies to step up and increase their generosity with some cash. Here's a bit of what we heard from the executive director of Pride Toronto.
I say this with absolutely no apologies. You don't walk away from us when our house is on fire, and when we rebuild, you try to come back. So my answer to this will be, for the ones that walked away today, they're going to have to demonstrate that they are ready, they have done their work in order to come back.
And so this $900,000 shortfall for funding for Pride Toronto is twofold. First, because some of these corporate sponsors bowed out after formally or verbally, according to the executive director of Pride, agreeing to support the festival. But secondly, putting the festival on is getting more and more expensive every year. A lot more expensive for insurance. Since 2022, we've been told more money being spent on things like security and paid duty police officers. And so that's why it's kind of a dire situation for people here in the village that I've been talking to today. They know how important the Pride Festival is. It's one of the largest in North America, and they're disappointed that some of these corporate sponsors are pulling out. They say a lot of what's happening in the U.S. the Trump administration now bleeding over to this side of the border. Here's some reaction from the village today.
I'm really disturbed at the fact that the funding would be reduced just before Pride. It doesn't look well. It doesn't bode well.
Sponsorship is just not existent, and it really sucks. I remember my sibling was trans, and they came down 2 years ago for their first Pride in Toronto, and they were struggling with their job and, kind of feeling like they were being pushed out. And I said, look down this street, look at all these companies. You just need to find a job with one of these places. They have support. They're really supporting the community, and there's hope for you. So it's sad to hear that hope is maybe leaving.
Pride's been going on before we had sponsors. Pride is a celebration of unity, getting together as a community, and just celebrating each other. So I don't see it any different. I'm super pumped to see what happens.
That last person you just heard from there, Bakari and Phil, they come from Texas, just moved to Toronto, and so there's already a stark difference between how things are down there when it comes to diversity, inclusion, and acceptance of some people in the LGBTQ2S+ community. And so Pride Month well underway, and the parade's set to come in just about 2.5 weeks, June 29th. The streets here in Toronto will be full of rainbows. Back to you.